Welcome, everybody, to this class on stopping procrastinating as an Enneagram Nine. I was thinking about this. First of all, I'm really overwhelmed with the response. I am, but I'm not. I am because I've never done a live webinar. I've always done pre-recorded classes and then sent them to the people that signed up for it. But I've never done one live. And I've got like 800 and something people that are registered for this. And so I'm a little bit, as you can imagine, as an Enneagram Nine, I'm just kind of like, whoa, this is way out of my comfort zone here. But hello, everyone. So fun to see your highs. Um, but I I know you all and I love you all, and I just feel like my heart might burst. I um I just think it's amazing that you have invested time in yourself, that you've chosen to show yourself that you matter by registering for this webinar and taking this time to watch it and participate with me. You're seeing that something in your life is not working, right? Like, I think procrastination is probably the biggest issue that nines have besides conflict avoidance. Those are the two things. When I get on a consult call with nines, that's always what they say. I procrastinate. I am so bad at getting stuff done. I've got a hair in my mouth. And so anyway, this is definitely something that you need and I need. And I have so much to share with you about it. So a little bit about me. My name is Heather Fillmore. I'm an Enneagram Type 9 myself, and I live in the Salt Lake City, Utah area in the United States. I've still got this hair. There it is. Okay. And I have a husband named Jeremy and actually 9 kids, only 6 live at home now. And we grew our family pretty quickly. We had 5 biological kids, and then we adopted 4 children internationally. And so it grew really fast. And it's been about 6 years since we've had our little guys from China. So that's my family. And then we have 7 chickens in our backyard that I absolutely love. I love being a chicken mom. Tell me if you have chickens. It's a 9 thing, I think. And we have a little pug named Nellie, who I love to death. I earned my undergraduate degree in communicative disorders way back when. And I thought at that time that I was going to go back for my master's degree, like after my kids were raised, and become a speech pathologist. And then we adopted these kids with special needs. A couple of them have pretty severe speech impediments. And I was like, I don't know. I don't think this is what I want to do. So, during all those years that my kids were little, I just did all different things to help to combat depression and anxiety. I found that if I was like connecting people and if I was moving my body, if I was doing those 2 things, I was staying pretty much out of depression and anxiety. But I anything that helped me to feel like engaged and alive. So I sold Mary Kay for a lot of years. I taught step aerobics and turbo kick at our local rec center and for about 7 or 8 years. And I organized women's retreats, like people from my church. I would organize these retreats where we would go and just be together and relax. So I've always just had this big desire to bring people together and just to help them to be happy. And I think, tell me if you can relate to this. I think one of our top gifts as nines is connectivity. A lot of us have that as one of our top strengths, and we just love to connect people. So, just to kind of tell you how I got to where I am right now, I found myself really feeling lonely because I felt like nobody really understood what it was like to have these kids that you've adopted and you've grown your family and so in this way, and they have so many needs. And I just felt like I didn't really have anyone that understood me. And then there was this time, like shortly after we brought our little boys home from China, um, right before we went to get them, I lost my older brother that was only 55 years old and my dad within a month's period of time. So that happened. And then, like 1 week later, we went and got our boys, and they were, traumatized and grieving. And our family was, because anyway, it was just like a really, really intense time in my life. And I really, struggled to keep myself just going from day to day. And I found myself getting stuck in a lot of self pity. And I was kind of in this victim place a lot, and just struggled a lot with anger because I felt really angry, and then I would yell or something, or like my what we do as nines, we're really passive aggressive. And then I'd go back into my room and just cry because I felt like the worst mom, and I thought there was no hope for me. So it wasn't long after this that I discovered life coaching through a couple of podcasts that I found. And I started listening to all these concepts, and I immediately learned how to feel better. A few months later, I joined a coaching program that's really similar to the one that I'm just starting right now, the Bold Nine. And for the first time ever, this was the first time that I had ever invested in my mental health, other than like joining a gym or something like that. And I was just so empowered. I was like, wow, like I can figure out how to feel better myself. This is amazing. And I learned these tools that helped me to be able to coach myself when I was feeling bad. And just a long story short, I eventually felt like I had this huge opportunity to get trained at the life coach school. And it was about a year later that so I got trained and I started coaching. I was coaching moms of kids with special needs and teenagers. I was kind of trying different niches out. And then about a year later, I discovered the Enneagram, and I just loved it. I've always loved like personality test type things, stuff like that. So I figured out that I was a nine, and I realized that everything that I had learned in coaching is what had helped me to become a healthy nine. And that have those healthy three kind of things going on. And my brain just kind of went ding, this is who I want to coach. I want to coach Enneagram type nines because I get what they're going through. I know exactly what it's like to feel invisible and to just be so afraid to step out and do uncomfortable things. And all that. I know I'm doing this work myself, and I can help them. I have the tools and I know how to help. So that's my story. That's how I decided to coach nines, and I started 2 years ago. I started my Instagram account, and I've just been coaching nines ever since. Okay, so now let's talk about the thing that you are here for, which is procrastination. Nines have what I call procrastination-itis. I made up that word. So, including myself included, um, I am notorious for procrastinating, just like you. I got through college by cramming for tests right at the end. Right now, as we speak, my email inbox has about 10 emails from different teachers because my kids started school this week, and I am procrastinating opening those emails and doing what I need to do. My bathroom downstairs has rolls of wallpaper on the counter. We remodeled like back in December, and we thought we'll put the wallpaper up ourselves. Well, it's been sitting on the counter since January. So, who can relate? Tell me if you can relate to this. So, yeah, it's a problem. It's a struggle, but I'm slowly getting better and better with my productivity using these tools that I want to teach you today. So the plan is during this time together, first I'm going to help you see as an Enneagram 9, why you procrastinate, because that is really important. You need to know why. Okay. And then I'm going to teach you a few reasons, or sorry, I'm going to share with you how. So the why and then the how. I'm going to tell you 2 ways that you can stop procrastinating and getting stuff done, and just kind of give you a couple of little tips of ways to integrate those 2 ways. And here's a little hint. I'm not going to tell you about a system. Sorry. I hope you're not disappointed. You want to just just tell me what to do, right? No, this is not about that. I'm going to tell you something that's going to work better, okay? And then at the end, I'm going to share with you how I can help you further beyond this webinar, okay? All right. First, I just want to tell you that getting better at getting your stuff done is going to be a process of ebb and flow. You're going to gain some ground on it with these things that I teach you. You're going to get a little bit better, and then you're going to kind of fall back. And then you're going to gain some ground again, and then you're going to revert back up again. And it's just what happens. That's what growth looks like in all areas of our lives. We don't just grow and then we're done. Like, we have to continually, we have these human brains that are always offering to us, how are we not safe? How are we going to be rejected? How are we going to lose our sense of peace right now? Our brains are always offering that, and they will for our whole lives, right? So sometimes we answer that and we just do it, and sometimes we don't answer our brains and we push through and get what we want to do. So and then another thing is, a lot of times when I get on coaching calls, I hear 9 say, I have this huge procrastination problem, and even with things that I really, really want to do, and I just hate that about myself. Tell me if this is you. You just hate this about yourself. And but I just don't know how to stop. Okay. So what I want you to start doing right this minute is, I want you to stop beating yourself up because you're someone that procrastinates. All right. I want you to start thinking about procrastination as just kind of a part of you. It's part of who you are. It's part of your brain, the way that your brain has conditioned to work. And the brain, like some deficits. There's some deficits that we have as 9s. A lot of us have ADHD symptoms, and part of that is working memory issues, right? That affects procrastination, like getting stuff done. So give yourself the compassion and the space to be where you are right now. And there's nothing wrong with you, okay? It's just a part of you. And the important thing here is that now you're going to know how to pull yourself out of it when you're stuck in that place, okay? The thing with procrastination is that it goes hand in hand with conflict avoidance. And as 9s, we want to just have a state of peace at all times. And doing things that we don't want to do is avoiding conflict, right? Like, if we can just put things off, then we can, in our minds, keep this state of peace that we want. Who can relate with this? Say yes, if this is you. Oh, yeah. So we're going to start interacting through the chat box. I can see a lot of you are doing that. Awesome. Sorry, I haven't had a chance to look at it yet. But what I want you to do is type in the chat box. It's on the right side of your screen. I'm not sure if you're on a phone, where you might have to click a button at the bottom that'll bring it up. But type in something that you're procrastinating right now. If you found out about this webinar on Instagram, you might have made a comment in my comment section on that post about something you're procrastinating. You can use that, or you can use something else. But I want you to think of one thing that you're procrastinating, and then during this workshop, as I am talking and teaching, I want you to think about that specific thing and come back to that. Okay, I'm seeing lots of stuff here, and it's going so fast that I can't read it, but decluttering, bookkeeping, writing a paper, completing courses, packing, work projects, updating your kids' room, getting ready for school, a teacher, projects in the house, studying for an exam, unpacking things, planning a shower. Okay, lots of good things. Good. Okay, so keep that thing in your mind, and we're just going to explore it a little bit. Okay, now you have it in your mind, right? Now I want you to share why you are putting this thing off. Okay, think about that for a second. So if it's something like studying for exam, you're putting it off because it's boring and you would rather do other things. Whatever it is, think about why. Okay, and then type that in. Being consistent. Okay, it's still showing the things that you're doing here. It's catching up. All right, so I can't really go through and talk about, okay, it seems hard. I don't want to. I'm afraid I'll fail. I don't have the energy. I feel like oh, I missed that one. Fear, it's too much effort. Some of you can kind of see some of these that are coming through. Good. Yeah, okay. Now, gather around, y'all. Tune in because I want to tell you something. I'm going to tell you the real reason that you're putting it off, okay? And I want you to just really soak this in, because a lot of times you think it's because of the thing, like the thing is too hard or the thing is too much work, all of that. But the real reason that you're putting this off is because of something that you're thinking and something that you're feeling about it. Because our feelings are what drive our actions. So anything that we do in our lives, we do because of a feeling that we are feeling that makes us do or not do the action, okay? So you're not feeling what you need to feel in order to do the thing, and then you're not thinking the thought that you need to think in order to feel that way. So I'm going to share some slides with you here. Right here. Let's see if I can figure this out. All right, can y'all see that? Hopefully you're not, and hopefully you can see it. Okay, so you're not getting it done because you're having thoughts. Those thoughts are creating feelings, and those feelings are making you either avoid it, they're making you find other things to do, like they're driving your actions, okay? So I'm going to share a couple of examples with you. First of all, okay, here's some common thoughts and feelings that keep specifically us as an Enneagram Nines from producing the results that we want, okay? So one common thought that we have is, I might do it wrong. Raise your hand if this is you. Do you think that there's a right and a wrong way to do it? Yeah? Or another version of this is, it needs to be perfect. If it's not perfect, I can't do it. Tell me if this is you. Raise your hand. If you have a one wing, this is very common, because Enneagram ones are there's a right and a wrong way to do it. It's either this or it's this. There's nothing in between. So we get stuck in this thought process of, I've got to just like figure out what that right way is. And we'll just like search and do research and all the things. And then but we're not actually doing the thing. So for example, say you want to reorganize your pantry and you follow some organizing people on Instagram and they have all these great ideas, and you remember that this one person shared about these specific baskets that you use and labels, and you're like, I've got to do it that way or it's not right. So you research some more. Can anyone relate? So yeah, so if you're thinking that there's like a certain way that it needs to be done, it needs to be perfect, it needs to be just so, that's creating a feeling of fear or hesitancy. Okay. And then from that feeling of fear, your actions are going to be researching, asking other people for their opinions, distracting yourself. Tell me if you can relate. Tweaking everything, maybe if it's a blog post, you're sitting there and tweaking all the little words, making sure it sounds just right. You're just doing all these things. And this is what we call passive action. So there's a difference between passive action and massive action. Passive action is staying safe. It's making it so that you don't have to actually fail. Like you're just doing the research, you think you're taking action, right? Like because you're thinking about it, you're, learning things, you're whatever. So you think you're taking action, but really it's passive action. It's not actually producing the result. And you're doing this because this feels so much more comfortable, right? Like, no, but I don't have to fail if I keep doing this. I can just keep doing this. This keeps me in my state of peace. Anyone relate? I can see there's a couple people. Oh yeah, all the things. Okay, yeah. So the result that you're going to create from those actions, because our results come from our actions, right? The result is that you are not producing. Nothing is being produced. Not saying there's anything wrong with passive action, guys. Like we kind of need to do that too. We need to do our research and stuff. But ask yourself, if I want to create a result, can I just let some of these little details go and can I just produce right now? Okay. And a lot of energy and effort in passive action. I end up getting frustrated because the effort I put out doesn't deliver any results. Yeah. And sometimes we think that means that we're failing. And I just want to say, no, you're not failing. You're just getting more information about what's going to work. Um, yeah, like always asking people for their opinion, all that. Okay, next slide. Here's what I want you to remember. Okay, everyone paying attention? Center yourself, feel your body here, feel the back of your chair. Be present, lean in here, listen. Productive people produce. Okay, I want you to memorize that little phrase. In order to be productive, you have to produce specific things. You get it? So, massive action is actually moving forward and doing something that produces the thing that you want done. So, for example, if I want to clean my kitchen, passive action would be like kind of looking at it and I don't know. I don't know. Like, I don't know if there's such thing as passive action with a kitchen, but you know, I don't know, avoiding it somehow. Massive action is saying, I want to produce a clean kitchen in the next 15 minutes. Okay, so you're getting really specific about what it is that you want to produce. And then you've got this mindset because massive action is a mindset. Okay. I right now as a coach, I'm scaling my business. I'm creating this membership program, going from one-on-one into more of a membership program so I can serve more people. I'm having to take lots and lots and lots of massive action. I'm having to create a website, like advertise just so many things. So it's in my brain with ADHD, it wants to think about like, well, what about this? What about this? What about this? Oh, wait, I got to do this. And so things aren't getting done as quickly as I can. So I have to like zero in, massive action here. What is it that I want to produce today? And that's how we do it. So here's another common one, common thoughts and feelings that keep nines from producing. The thought is, I might fail. Okay, that's going to produce the feeling of fear. You're going to distract yourself, you're not going to do anything, and then the result is not producing. So question that thought, I might fail. What does failure even mean? I hear this so much from nines. Like they have an idea, maybe they want to start some kind of business. And I'm like, well, why aren't you starting it? Why are we not doing it? And I just might fail. So I ask them, what do you mean? Like, what does failure mean? And it's usually something like, well, I don't know, like I'll put myself out there, I'll tell people that I'm doing it, and then I just won't do it. So it's just interesting how our brains just kind of go to the future and they make up a bunch of crap. Really, you're the one who gets to make it work, right? Like it's not something that's happening to you. You are the one who decides it's going to work. If something that you try doesn't work, you're like, okay, that didn't work. Let's try something else. And if you do it and you're like, okay, that didn't work very well, is it failure? Like all it is maybe it's information for the next time, for the next thing that you want to try. It's information that like maybe that wasn't the best thing for me. But failure is a thought, okay? It's different. It's you're the one who has the way to decide that. All right, here's another one. Another common thought. It needs to be peaceful and lovely, or I just can't. I just can't do it. So this is something that came up recently with a client of mine. She wanted to work on, I think it was a website, and she had in her mind a time in the past when she was just in flow and she got tons of it done and it was just so good and lovely. And so that was in her mind. And then every time she thought, I need to go work on this, that was in her mind, this peaceful, lovely, in flow time. But she wasn't feeling that. And so she just thought, well, I have to feel that. So never mind. I can't do it. Can anyone relate? Tell me if you can relate to this. Super common with nines. We have this kind of fantasy in our mind of how things need to feel in order for us to take action. And guess what? It's very, very rare that we feel good when we're taking massive action. Probably 98% of the time at least, we are not feeling good. In fact, we're feeling like crap. We feel horrible when we're taking massive action because we are having to put ourselves out there. We're having to show people that we're not perfect, that we mess up. We're being vulnerable a little bit. That is not comfortable. That's not peaceful and lovely, right? It feels horrible. So this is a thought that you always want to just be aware of when it pops in your head. It's not going to be lovely. It's going to feel horrible. Okay. Next one is I either have to go big and do it all the way, like all the things, or nothing. I have to go big or go home. So, for example, if you want to organize your pantry, I have to have every little thing organized. I have to have a system. I have to have the baskets. I've got to figure out everything or not do it at all. So this creates a feeling of dread, right? Like that's just so overwhelming. And then from that feeling of dread, you're going to distract yourself. You're not going to do anything. And then the result is that you're not producing. Okay. So notice when your brain is feeling overwhelmed about the thing that you want to do. It's always because you have way too big of a goal in mind. You need to like narrow it down. And I'll talk in a minute about minimum baselines and just like focus on just the minimum. So maybe instead of organizing the entire pantry, maybe today your brain is not going to reject the idea of just organizing one shelf. Okay, so that's an example. Okay, so how do we stop procrastinating? Are y'all listening? There's two ways that we do it. This is what it all comes down to. Number one, we take massive action, even though we don't have the feeling that drives the action. Okay, you're feeling dread, and you take action anyway. You're feeling fear, and you take action anyway. Okay, it's kind of like that, like just pushing through that willpower. You're just you willpower your way through it. Okay, sometimes this is what we have to do because, like I said before, it feels horrible. So that's the first way. The second way to stop procrastinating is to create the feeling that you are going to need to drive that action. You're going to create the feeling of motivation or excitement. Uh-oh, my phone. So, okay, let me tell you just a little bit more about that. Okay, so in order to take massive action, you're going to start with the result in mind. Okay, so instead of saying, I want to start exercising, I want to start being someone that exercises every day. You need to think of a very specific result that you are going to produce today. What is the result that I'm going to produce? I am going to produce 15 minutes of yoga. I'm going to produce 10, 30 sit-ups. Okay. So it's getting very specific about what it is that you want to produce. Our brains are just kind of, it's weird. It's like, it's this big cloud that's on in our brain, and everything is kind of all jumbled up and cloudy until we tell it very specifically what's going to happen. Okay. So start with the result in mind. What am I going to produce during this time? What is it going to look like exactly? You want to make it measurable. Okay. If it's not measurable, then you have nothing to really go off of, and then your brain rejects it. So make it very, very measurable. I'm sorry, a lot of you are probably asking questions, and we'll have a little Q&A time at the end. So if you have a question that you're just not getting answered, then we'll do that. Okay, so that was the first way. You're taking massive action even when you don't feel like it. The second way is to create the feeling that you need in order to do that. And did you know that you could create feelings on purpose? Did you know that feelings don't always just happen? Like, you can actually create a feeling in your body that you don't currently have. That's pretty amazing. And a lot of times that's what I kind of have to do. Like, I have to stop for a minute and think, what's the feeling I need right now to get this done? And then I have to visualize it and imagine it already done, and so that feeling is created. So create a visual representation of the actual result that you're going to produce. So as like I mentioned before, as nines, we kind of have this working memory issue. Most of us. If you've been following me on Instagram, I recently talked about ADHD, and a lot of us have at least the inattentive type of ADHD, which is, we have some of those kind of deficits with our memory and our working memory, which is like the right now memory. So we need to have something that represents what it is that we want to do. If we're just in our mind kind of thinking this ambivalent thing that we want, but we don't have anything to visually like implant it into our mind, then it kind of just like floats by like a cloud. So you want to picture, you need some kind of a visual picture of what you want done. So this could mean, tell me if you have any ideas, right in the chat, an idea of a way that you could create a visual picture of something. One thing that I do is I write a goal that I have on paper, and I just make it really big. And I just put it up on my wall in front of my desk. Here's my goal. I'm going to sell this many courses in the next month. And I see it. And like my brain sees that and it makes it a real thing. Vision board, someone said. A Pinterest board. When I want to lose weight, I make a Pinterest board of cute outfits that I want to fit into. That's good. Create a quick collage in Canva. Yeah, like there's so many quick. When I was little, it was cutting pictures out of magazines. I don't think people do that anymore, but so many quick ways to just go on Google Images and print something off and put it all together. A mood board. I don't know what a mood board is. That sounds really cool though. Visualization, meditation. Okay, good. Make it your phone screensaver. Ooh, I love that idea. That's fun. Journal. Talk about what it is. Oh, journaling, you guys. I'm telling you, when nines start doing thought downloads and writing things, actually seeing their thoughts on paper, huge changes start happening in their lives. It's very, very powerful for nines because they are able to just really take a look at what's going on. Saying it out loud. Okay, good. Like if you're an auditory learner instead of visual, maybe just speaking it out loud to someone that you love or just yourself even could be helpful. Okay, and then third is just grounding yourself and visualizing it. And so sometimes that's what I do. Like I will just stop for a minute, center myself. I'm doing that right now. Just feeling into my vertical dimension, feeling that dignity, that nobleness. Do this with me, you guys. I do this often. I teach this to my clients. So it's feeling your vertical dimension, putting space between each vertebrae, and just feeling what that feels like to be dignified. And then opening yourself up, thinking about the outsides of your body and allowing that to fill the room. You're expanding yourself. Nines have a tendency to pull back and to hide, right? So this is an uncomfortable, but not uncomfortable, but unfamiliar feeling to open ourselves up and expand and fill a space. Okay, and then feeling your back, feeling your back against the back of your chair. So now we're centered and we're thinking in our mind, what's it going to be like? Like, what feeling do I need to feel to get this thing done? So think about the specific thing that you wrote down earlier. And think about what it's going to be like when that thing is done. If you didn't make it specific enough, you might need to make it a little bit more specific and like easy to do right now. Okay, so that's the creating the feeling. Okay, just looking at some of the notes here. So just remember, it all comes down to thoughts and feelings. If you have a big list of things that you're telling yourself that you need to do and you're not getting it done, this is really, really important for nines. Okay, so listen closely. You need to audit that list of things that you are telling yourself that you need to do. Do you really need to do all those things? Why do you have that on your list? Do you feel like you're just supposed to be a good mom or something or dad? Is it, does culture say you need to do this thing? Really ask those questions because sometimes the list itself can really overwhelm us. So we want to only do the things that we want to do. And we want to ask ourselves, am I doing this for the right reason? Or am I doing it because I feel like I should? Okay, and then the last concept that I want to teach you is minimum baseline. So the minimum baseline is the amount that your brain is not going to reject. So if you have a goal to start walking 5 miles a day, and right now you're not walking at all, when you wake up in the morning, your brain is going to reject going out and going for a walk. So we need to scale way back to just the amount that your brain isn't going to reject. Maybe it's just going to the end of the block. Maybe it's just putting my shoes on, going out to the mailbox. Only do that minimum amount, because what we're doing here is we are rewiring our brains to tell ourselves that we are a person that we can count on, that I can count on me. Because if I've got something that's too big and I'm not doing it all, I'm sending myself the message that I am not someone that shows up for myself. I just can't count on me. So take it way down to the minimum and just do that. And that is it. Okay. And yeah, that's all I had on the slides. So going to go back. I was going to have a couple of my clients share some examples, and I hope I can figure out how to find them. Just one second. Exit out of the screen share here. Okay, it's the first time I've used this platform, so I'm a little iffy about it. Okay, let me see if I can find the person I want here. Can I do a search? No. It's supposed to be alphabetical, but it's not. Okay, Mary, I'm looking for you. I'm looking. Mary. Either Mary or, hold on just a sec. Mary or Noni is who I'm looking for. Mary and Noni, both of you put a comment in so I can see you come up. Oh, there's Noni. Okay, I'm going to do Noni first because I see her here. Making her a presenter. So Noni, you need to accept, or you need to tell your thing to accept your mic and your camera. And then you'll come on and hopefully we'll be able to see you. Noni is a client that I just started working with recently, and she was procrastinating something, and I'm going to have her share with you why she was procrastinating it and what kind of changed for her after we talked. Is it working, Noni? I think I put it on here. Okay, we'll see if she comes on. And I keep looking for Mary while we're waiting for that. They told me that it was going to be in alphabetical order, and it's not in alphabetical order. So I'm just having to scroll through all these names. So, okay, well, let me see if oh, there's Mary. Okay, can I click on your name? Nope, I can't. Oh, well, I'll just tell you their story. Okay, so with Noni, she had in her mind this big idea that it was the perfect example that I was talking about earlier, where you're like, I just need to be in this flow state. And I think it was a blog that she was wanting to work on. And so she had that in her mind. And then every time that she went to go do the thing, it wasn't happening. And she's like, I really want to do this. But then sorry, my mic isn't working, she said. Okay. So we'll see if she pops on here. But she's like, I really want to do this. What's wrong with me? And it was because she had this big ambivalent, like in her mind, not only did she think it was going to be pleasureful and wonderful, but she also, she had too much in her mind of what she wanted to get done at once. So we talked about just scaling down to just the minimum amount of what she's going to produce that day. And so that's what she did last Sunday. And she said it worked beautifully. She sat down. And the interesting thing that happens is once you start, like even if she told herself, I'm just going to work on this for 5 minutes at 4 p.m. on Sunday, and I'm going to produce one paragraph. Even if it was just that, usually you get started and you're like, oh, this isn't so bad. And you got the momentum and you start going. So that's usually what happens, which is really awesome. With Mary, so she's a client that I've been working with for a while now. And when she came to me, she had this idea. She had an important job. I don't know if I can tell what it was, but she had an important job. She was over a lot of people. Okay. And let's see one new message. Let me see if I can. Okay. Noni said, you explained it perfectly. Minimum baseline was so helpful. Okay. Thanks, Noni. So with Mary, so she had this thing, and in her mind, so she had this, her gut, her inner knowing was telling her it was time to leave this profession and do something else. But the fear of having to let all the people down that she was over, and the fear of possibly failing was very, very big in her mind. So she was just kind of procrastinating, putting that off. Procrastinate, right? Like over and over again. Okay, she's okay to say she was a school principal. Okay, she's telling me I can say that. So we worked on simply, first of all, like looking at all those little sneaky thoughts that were coming in, like this is gonna just ruin people. Mary, you can keep kind of commenting on this. All of these thoughts that were coming up that were producing the feeling of fear, which was keeping her from actually letting administration know that this was going to be her last year. So we did a lot of work on, feeling that confidence from within, being able to actually say the words. I mean, she was so scared. And it eventually, when it was time, she was procrastinating from week to week to week, procrastinating, actually quitting. But we eventually got to the point with the practice and with the thought work that she was able to do that. And amazingly, now she's in a different job where she's working from home, doing educational consulting, using all of her gifts. Like being a principal was using all of her gifts, but there was a lot of it that was just stressing her out too much. And she wanted to be with her family more and be more calm. So, she's now doing something that uses her gifts and is not creating so much stress in her life. And she looks back at it now and she's like, why on earth was I procrastinating that so much? It was not nearly as hard as I thought it would be. So this is where coaching comes in, y'all. You got to have a life coach if you want to start making changes in your life. It's really hard to just get that confidence to do these things if you don't have someone to help you to see the label that is on your bottle. Because right now you're inside the bottle and you don't see what all that these stories are and things that are going on. A life coach helps you to see that. So I've been coaching one-on-one. I do one-on-one coaching, but also I have the Bold 9 Academy, which I've been doing in groups for the past year. And now I'm opening it up to a general membership program. And what this is that we can have as many people as we want in there. You can come in anytime. You can either subscribe and just go month to month, or you can, right now I have a special where you can come in as a founding member and you get a big discount and you're in for a year. But I'm just going to share, let's see, how do I share the offer? Oh, right here. Is it there? Yeah, okay. Broadcast, there we go. Hopefully it's on there. You can click right here to get access to more information about it. But what we do is we have workshops of every month. We're going to have one thing that we're focusing on. This first month, we start September 1st. And on September 1st, I'm going to teach a workshop on how to feel better as an Enneagram 9, just how to feel better. I'm going to teach you this tool of being able to implement using the model in your life and being able to coach yourself when you're feeling horrible, when you're sitting there stuck in sloth and just not able to do anything. There's something going on in your mind, and these tools just it's so empowering to be able to know how to um, see what's not working in your life, why you're not getting the results that you're not getting, and choose a different way. I'm teaching you all the tools. So yeah, that's what we're doing in September. So we have the workshop at the beginning of the month, and then we also have coaching calls every week where either me or another coach. Right now, I have a coach named Laura Callister who's also an Enneagram 9, and she's incredibly amazing coach. She's going to be coaching once a month as of right now. But you can sign up to be coached, and you come with whatever issue you have in your life, whether it's Enneagram 9 related or it's just life, just life happening to you. Just bring that, and you're coached, and everybody gets to learn from these coaching calls. Um, Everyone that's coached has the same conditioning that you do. They have the same issues that come up over and over and over again in their lives. And as you're listening to these calls, you're not the one in the hot seat. So you're able to just kind of sit back and observe and just go, oh, that's why I've been so stuck with this. And it's so powerful to be able to do that. So there's the coaching calls. They'll be recorded. So if you can't come live to those, you can watch them when you're out on your walk or in your car or whatever. Then I'm also going to have, this is what I'm really excited about. I know that nines have a hard time doing the inner work on their own. They kind of need someone to like get them to do it. So we're going to have every week self-coaching together calls. You'll come on the call and I'm going to say, okay, download your thoughts. And we're all going to sit there and I'm going to do it too. We're going to download our thoughts on paper. And then we're going to go through the process of self-coaching with the model. And then I'll answer some questions. I might kind of bring an example on to share with everybody, like how the model is working for them. So it's really like, it's giving you this opportunity to actually implement the tools that I'm teaching you, and we're going to learn it together. So those are the self-coaching calls. We're also going to have self-healing calls where I'm going to give you opportunities to heal your trauma and learn to be in the world, like in your body. Lots of different types of those kind of calls. We're also going to have social calls. If you're a social 9 and you want the community, you want to like know that you're not alone in this journey. We're going to have calls. I have a super fun Enneagram 9 that's going to be in charge of those calls, and she's gonna lead them, and you're gonna implement the things that you learn and talk about like how it's working in your life and just share. It feels so good to know that other people understand, and yeah. So that's the social calls. And then we will also have a social community, like a Facebook group where you can get on and talk about, what you're doing in your work for that month and such. So every month is a different theme we're working on together. And the fun part is it's on a platform called Experientify, where you earn points for doing different things. So you get this little dopamine hit. Like you watch a video and you click a little thing and it goes cha-ching, yay! And like you get this applause and there's confetti and you get points for it. So it's kind of a gamified thing. And we're going to have contests to see who can get the most points. But here's the thing. There's never any pressure. Okay. Like if you just watch one call in a month's time and that's all you do, I don't want anyone to feel like there's like a certain way to be in this program. It's just you get out of it what you want to get out of it, and that's it. All right, so that is that, and there's a link there where you can go check it out and join. I have a special right now where you get $15 off if you put in the word webinar in the coupon code box. So that's good for the next couple of days. So that is for that. Okay, questions and answers. See if there's any questions I can answer here. Mary said, after taking massive action, I felt so much relief. Finally. So she was the school principal I was talking about. Oh, I wish I could have let you hear her. Her transformation was so, so beautiful to watch. I love her so much. I love my clients. I can't even tell you. It's just so beautiful to see the change that happens in people. Ryan said, feeling the results that come from my work wouldn't be good enough for the people that I'm doing it for. Yeah. Yep, that's a thought. Definitely. Okay, sitting there stuck in sloth. Let's see, trying to find some questions here. Someone said they're so excited. Yay. The dopamine hit, yes. Does anyone have any question? Oh, will you still be doing private coaching? Yes, as of right now, I'm still taking private clients. I'm cutting back a little bit because the reason I'm doing this membership program is so I can spend more time with my family. It's been quite the summer, let me tell you. But I will be doing some still. So that is an option. You can schedule a consultation and we can talk about that if that's something you're interested in. Can we listen to this again? I got work calls and missed parts. Yes, there will be a replay that will be sent to you in like 4 hours from now. And what time will the calls take place? Will it be a set day and time each week? So there's going to be a calendar each month, and the calls will just be at all different times. So if you're in a time zone that's not the United States, say you live in Australia or something like that, I'm going to have some calls early in the morning, like 9 here, my time, so that some other people in other countries can be. Then we'll have some that are later in the afternoon. I'm trying to kind of get a variety of times in there. We'll probably do one evening coaching call a month. So if you're someone that works during the day and you want to be coached, that will be available. Let's see, how come getting rejection job emails feels so personal? Yeah, we take things personally. We really do. That's a good question. It's all what you're making it mean about yourself. Anytime you feel rejection, remember the thought creates the feeling. You're making the thing that happened mean something about you. Going back to the clean kitchen metaphor, and we frame it in terms of the end result. Usually the result is a clean kitchen, but it sounds like we should reframe it in terms of taking action. So I produced 15 minutes of cleaning in the kitchen. Is that accurate? Yeah, if you want to make the result like a certain time of doing something, that's perfectly fine too. The idea here is that it's measurable, whether it's the actual like completing of the thing or it's just a period of time, then that's, that's, you just got to get your brain wrapped around what's going on here. Okay, I hope I answered everybody's questions. If there are any more, hurry and throw it in there. But thank you all so much for being here. I hope that this was helpful. If you have any questions that come up, you're welcome to email me at heather@heatherfillmorecoaching.com. I think you can just reply to the replay that gets sent to you. You can also reach me on Instagram. If you're on Instagram, I'm at the9coach with underscores in between each word. You can find me there. Oh, I saw a question there. Okay, that's that. Thank you. Okay, I think that's all the questions. All right. You guys are amazing. Go out there and produce some really specific things and come and tell me about it in Instagram if you're on there. Come and just share your wins. There's so much that we can do when we just really dial in our thoughts and get intentional. So I just want to hear all about what you do to implement what you've learned today. So be sure that you share, and I'm going to share in my stories on Instagram what some of those wins are. Thank you. Love you all. See you. Bye bye.